through the heart that bears it all. Take it apart, throw it away, put it back together again. Modular. like oxygen. Oh, in an otherwise suffocating world, I'm reaching out for arms, I'm drowning in the open-ended love we're making, girl. Exhale the past, inhale a future that lasts. Change my heart, change my mind. For the last time, wanna believe in the life I've led. I don't wanna leave another word unsaid. You know my heart will follow you in tomorrow. In tomorrow. Shared my evidence you once really cared. I'm reaching for a hand to pull me up, one open to an everlasting love. Exhale the past, inhale a future that lasts. Change my heart, change my mind. For the last time, wanna believe in the life I've led. I don't wanna leave another word unsaid. You know my heart will for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Just grab my hand from him, send with me tonight. I run away. We'll never forget the past, but what counts is our brand new start. Even if it hurts me or I get scared, just come take this risk now. We'll be prepared. I run away. I run away. Reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Keep your secrets there, hide them everywhere. Just you and I run away. I run away.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Meta High School Esports Championship. I'm Aj and I'll be your play-by-play caster for this game, and I am joined by my new friend, your color caster, Perplexer. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited to see these teams go at it. Really keen to see how they've, built up, ready to go into this tournament, ready to go in this match. So, it is just the best of one today, if I'm correct on that one.
Yes, that is correct. We have Stripe of Boys on the blue side and MRGS1 on the red side. So that will be very interesting to see. You've been looking up some of their OP.GGs to get a good look at their inside things as we're getting into Champion Select now with the first ban coming through.
Yeah, no, keen to see if they do focus on doing some of the more target bans, as we've seen in these sort of or if we try to see them go for more traditional, safer, big threat bans that they want to take off of the board. You can see they're taking away Thresh and Morgana here. A lot of focus on the support in the bot lane. Might have to double check that, but I think that Thresh is just a blanket ban. But
Yeah, could potentially just be a sort of general ban to get out of the way. We are going to see the Vladimir ban, which I believe is targeted against someone on the red side. If I recall.
Yes, that is being targeted against RuneShark, who has most of his game time on Vladimir. He has quite a strong stat ratio across his performance, so definitely focusing away that one. Fiddlesticks, though, is quite an interesting ban. I don't have a lot of data on any of them playing Fiddlesticks, so I'd expect that mostly not wanting something they want to go up against. Maybe they're looking at more of an engage. Don't want to deal with the harassment. Maybe if they go for like a melee support, like a Braum or something, or an Alistair, then that could be understandable. But NASA's being banned.
Yes, and then we also have the Rek'Sai ban coming in on the blue side. We talked a little bit about that before the stream earlier. Nasus ban coming through. Probably want to pick a champion that won't have issues against a scaling champion like Nasus. And then we got the first pick coming through, which is Twitch, a very competent ADC when given the right team to support him.
Yeah, it'll be really. I think it's quite interesting to say the fact that they first picked the Twitch here. A lot of priority being put onto that. I think it gives away a little bit of their comp, but you still have a lot of options when it comes to running a Twitch. You can still have, engage. You can play, split push 1v1. It's quite a lot of flexibility, so it's understandable as a first pick. But I would have liked to see them pick up something a little bit more scary. But Nunu and Yorick is a combo if I have ever seen a combo. That is terrifying. The amount of
That is
pressure that can create.
Absolutely terrifying. But you know what's a bit more terrifying? A Twitch with a Taric ultimate on top of him. That can absolutely change the tide of a fight. Even just the Taric ultimate without the Twitch. You don't even need the Twitch. Get him out of here. We are going to have a potential pick coming through now by the looks of it. It's going to be the Sejuani coming through. So we do have the jungle pick for the blue side going against that Nunu and Willump, the red side.
I would expect them to want to pick up their support here now, just given how the Taric's been taken off. They banned away the Thresh, banned away the Morgana. It's quite limiting in champion pools, so we'll have to see them if they go for that option. Also could see them pick up an ADC here to try and match, and that is what they're going to do. The Vayne into Twitch is, I think it's quite an interesting matchup. It's quite heavily dependent on the support, but I think that Vayne is quite decent into Taric, from my understanding.
I think that is quite interesting. We're going to have the Tryndamere ban coming through. Tryndamere, I wouldn't say he's a direct counter to Yorick, but I believe that's probably just a personal flavor ban, something that that the top laner might feel a bit uncomfortable against. What supports do you feel would be appropriate for the red side at this current stage?
Well, I was about to say Pyke, but that's a little bit unfortunate. Looking at the lineup currently, with the Nunu and your Yorick, you're going to have a lot of split push pressure. You're going to have a lot of options when it comes to how you want to approach sieging some turrets. But I definitely think that they need a better form of engage than their Nunu Snowball, and Yorick isn't going to be able to provide that. So if they're able to grab themselves something like an Alistair, like a Braum, to be able to set up some of these team fights and allow the Vayne to be Vayne, then I can definitely see that being a more preferred pick. Then again, I could also understand if they did lean back on something more aggressive, like a Brand, try and force this Vayne through laning phase and become such a threat that Vayne can become in the mid to late game.
And we do have the final bans coming through. Riven on the red side, Yasuo on the blue side. We're going to have the Victor picked up for the mid lane on the red side. That is an absolute mid lane Victor. Sorry, I completely forgot they picked Yorick for the top lane.
Hey, hold up. I have seen some nasty Victor supports. Okay. let's not discount that yet.
All right, all right, I'll go with you. We are going to have the Diana picked up as well, but that is more than likely going to be the mid lane pick, which means the final pick for the blue side will be the top laner, giving that last pick on the red side the support, potentially. It could be the Invictus.
but in all seriousness, I do like the Diana pick here. A little bit unconventional as a pick, but the amount of threat that she can provide in these sort of messy team fights that are probably going to be created when you're running a Sejuani and a Taric and Twitch, just being able to engage in the jungle, take those close fights, being able to get onto those carries, have that threat potential, but also the survivability that she provides over conventional assassins is definitely the ideal situation here for them to pick her up. I think that the Jax is an answer to the Yorick. He is a strong solo laner who, once he gets a few items, is able to be a solo split threat and be able to push down those turrets. The problem is getting to those items when you have someone like a Nunu being able to pressure out this Yorick and force some space to let him do his thing. But
and it's not even just the Nunu, it's also more along the lines of the Yorick as well, because if that Yorick can get that advantage on the Jax could pretty much almost be obsolete in terms of that split push game.
Completely. I think that if Yorick is able to create some space for himself, just have a couple items, have some pressure, suddenly the Jax is useless, can't split push against the Yorick, can't answer that, and you go to try and do team fights. If Jax is team fighting, you're losing, right? Like, unless you're a super fed Jax that can 1v9, you're not in the ideal situation. But I would like to point out that they did go for my advice here and take an engage support bot laner in the Leona. Not the one I was expecting, but I think it's a pretty good pick.
Yeah, I think it could absolutely work, especially with the Nunu and Willem synergy, with being able to lock down the enemy team. And as you can see, there's not actually a whole lot of mobility on the blue side. You've got the Diana who dashes in, but what happens when you dash in and then immediately get hit by some form of hard crowd control? You're not going to be able to dash out.
No, Diana's biggest weakness is your inability to escape situations, and that's easily going to be exploited by someone like Leona.
Yes, effectively the only saving grace that could potentially, save the blue team from disaster would, I'd argue, be the Taric ultimate. When they're in a sticky situation, just push through the damage with the invincibility provided from that. Because they're not going to be able to bail out effectively by the looks of it, without, at least if they don't have any summon spells available.
I have a question. If you ult as Taric onto the Twitch when he's stealthed, does that show the Taric ult?
I don't know. I cannot tell you that effectively.
Yeah, no, I think, because if that's a thing, then you could, stealthily set up a Taric ult on your team and then do something with that, but I feel like that's a little bit busted, and they probably
I think that's actually true, though, because I do know that you can proc Taric E on an invisible Twitch.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Wait, if he could stealth onto the Vayne in lane and get a stun off, that could be really interesting.
That could be very interesting, and that could be the way that they sort of aim to outpush or poke out the other opposing bot lane. They
definitely have, I think, a better early laning phase, given just Twitch's range over Vayne in general, but also Taric's ability to sustain them a little bit better, and just zone off Leona's attempts to engage, because Leona and Vayne want to either all in or just farm, and I think that Twitch and Taric are going to be able to make them not do either, force short trades, poke them out, shove them in. So we're going to have to see if Nunu is able to do something about alleviating that sort of pressure that's going to be created in the bot lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And although there is a fair amount of crowd control on the red side, the only real single target crowd control is on the Leona. I mean, yes, you can say the Vayne is a good single target CC with the Condemn, but that's only in the right circumstances, which is there's a wall nearby. But with the Leona, if that Leona goes onto the wrong target with that single crowd control, that could spell disaster for the rest of the team, because that would give free reign to the Jax, to the Diana, to the Twitch.
Yeah, it's definitely a... Yeah.
You right? Okay, seems like Perplexa is having a slight issue with their microphone or connection. So I guess I'm just going to have to solo run this.
No, it's okay. I'm back.
Oh, you're all good? All right,
I'm
sweet.
It's okay. League of
A little bit
Legends
late,
decided to
but
throw it on
fine.
my computer, but you know what? It's fine. But yeah, no. Looking at the summon spells and runes they picked up here, I like the Diana picking up TP, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be able to be used effectively here. I think that given how the Diana is going to want to be playing, they're going to be wanting to get kills early off of this Victor, be able to snowball into a threat, and I think Ignite might have been a little bit nicer, but hey, double TP, you can do some crazy map movement.
Yeah, maybe with that double TP, yeah, exactly as you said, that crazy map movement. But also there is, well, a certain style of Diana build that you can go with that insane split push potential. And we could be looking at a 1-3-1 sort of laning push coming from this team. We've got
I definitely
Sejuani,
think
Tarek,
that
and Twitch in the middle, Jackson top, Diana in bot.
I definitely think that that is their optimal play here. They want to get some form of lead onto Diana or Jax, make them a threat, put the other one in the other solo lane, shove your Twitch, Tarek, and Sejuani, who have great engage potential, but also decent disengage potential. So if they try to force a team fight in the mid lane, you can just back off. With the Tarek stun zoning off, just Twitch's general range and invisibility, but yeah, no, I think that their win condition is definitely get a solo lane threat, get your Twitch into a nice spot for team fights, push down mid lane, get us an inhibitor, rotate to the other side of the map, close out the game. Whereas on the opposite side of the map here, you're looking at, you want to get a late game Vayne and Victor. You want to do 1-4 with your Yorick in a side lane, and the rest of your team running down mid, maybe with your Nunu hovering between, and then you just want to look for a team fight.
Yep. We're just going to take a short moment to sync up, make sure we're all seeing the same thing. Once we are good to go, we should be ready. And we are going to be kicking off this game now. As we can see, majority of the blue side is moving down into that bottom half of the jungle. We could see a invade or counter invade coming through. Likely not a lot of action going to be happening in the first couple of minutes, however.
Yeah, I'd expect them just to do a standard fan out here. Not really want to risk anything. I think that their level 1s, while decent on the side of blue here, I don't think it's worth risking against something like a level 1 Leona stun. Just Nunu snowball. You don't know what they're going to throw at you. So,
yeah,
a lot of
that
safe
is
options.
True. But on top of the Leona stun, there's actually not a lot of damage to back it up. I mean, yes, you've got the Sunlight proc, but the Vayne would likely be starting with Q, which doesn't do too much damage at level 1, and the Nunu, I'd assume, would be taking Consume, which does do reduced damage to champions.
Very true, but it seems they are opting for the safe play here. I think that they might have been able to make something happen, but then again, they don't want to, so that's okay. Quite understandable.
Oh yes, nothing wrong with playing safe.
We're going to see them here starting on bot side, both junglers, which I think is quite common, pretty standard here. Gonna want to see if this Sejuani looks to try and make something early happen in bot lane, which I would be excited to see, but...
Now, I'm interested to see the Sejuani's jungle path, because if they go from red to Krugs to Scuttle, that's an easy level 2, but it looks like they're going to go straight for the Raptors? Yes, they're going to go straight for the Raptors. We can already see an early ward coming out on the top half of the map, coming out from the Victor.
Nice pixel ward there. I think that is a pretty nice trick in solo queue. It lets you check which Scuttle the enemy jungle is going to, if you place it down at 120, and so your jungle is then able to know where they are, and then path accordingly. I think that's really good from the red side.
Yeah, and another interesting fact is the Tarek actually started with a control ward instead of pops.
Oh.
And they've already got a control ward in that tri-brush in the bot side in case of an early gank, which I feel is smart in a way. In its own rightful respect, it is a smart play, but I think it's unwarranted.
I definitely think that as a Tarek, I mean, actually, I can justify it. You're against a lane that you have a range advantage at, you're not going to be poked out, so you don't really need to opt for that much sustain. Being able to pick up that early pink ward, while not maybe seen as optimal, I think that the longer it lasts, the more value you're going to get out of it, obviously. And now you know that Nunu hasn't gone for an early gank bot lane, so you know he's heading to top side, which means that You know, your Sejuani knows to expect him to be around there somewhere. You're able to play, you know, however you want to play in bot lane. Not really too much of a negative. You can see he's still on full health. It's not like he needs the sustain.
Yeah, we do have Sejuani hovering in the top side. They do know that Sejuani was top though, because as we saw, Sejuani was on top of that Pixel ward that Victor was able to put down early enough as Nunu clears up his red. There's actually no wards on the top side for Jax, who is pushing up pretty ferociously and could be vulnerable to an early gank from him.
I definitely think that that is a little bit of aggressive on the Jax part.
Speaking
but
of
he
aggressive,
does...
down in the bot lane, Tarek getting chunked out by the Vayne W.
Did I mention he doesn't need sustain? I lied. Now is when you would like some pots.
Oh, Diana going aggressive into Victor in the mid lane. Knocking him down to about just over half health. Not going to be able to force him out of lane with that. But there's no jungle pressure anymore.
Oh, if you noticed that.
Yeah.
But Tarek actually used heal in that fight in the bot lane, which is really big.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so slight sync delay there, sorry about that. We are just coming back onto the bot side, a very nice trade coming in with Twitch. We do have Nunu hovering in that top side. Yorick missing the E, so the minions aren't going to be aggroed directly into Jax. Nunu coming in with the snowball. It's going to be a direct hit, and he's not going to be able to get out in time. That's going to be first blood going to Yorick. A very nice and coordinated play coming between the Yorick and the Nunu.
He saw the opening, he knew that Sejuani wasn't going to be in topside anymore, or at least he didn't expect him to be, and then they capitalized on it, and I think that was really well done. Saw the opening and punished him for it. I think that
we are
Jax...
having some technical difficulties at the moment. A good amount of the team on the blue side has now disconnected. We're unaware
That's always
of
fun.
Yes, that is always fun. We're unaware of the situation, but I'm sure it will be resolved as quickly as possible. As we can see, people are starting to reconnect now. Sorry about that, Alex.
It's okay. It's how life is. But I just wanted to mention that if Jax had backed off when the Sejuani left his topside jungle, he probably would have been perfectly safe, because while Sejuani was there, she had enough pressure to be able to answer match gank anything that Nunu threw. But as you can see, she went down to bot side to clear her bot side raptors, and he didn't back up, and so he got punished for it. And that's the extent of that play, and I think that was really well done for them to even notice that, right? Like,
yeah, and as we saw before, the Jax pushing up with no ward coverage, and the Sejuani could have easily, you know, plopped down an extra ward for them. I don't see any wards that Sejuani has placed down. There's the scuttle, but that's not a ward that would consume part of his thing.
No, I mean, they don't have any in their inventory at the moment, do they? No, they don't. So it means they have placed them previously, and...
I think there might be one at the Raptor camp.
Oh, yep, okay. Yep, that might be it. I see now. I see what you mean. But yeah, no, I mean...
Yeah, pushing up with no ward coverage and no vision on the enemy jungle when they're more than likely going to be topside.
Okay, but we've had enough about ruining this Jax on his decision to push up. Let's talk about how the bot side fight earlier actually resulted in Tarek using his heal, which I think is massive for Vayne and Leona in a lane that they shouldn't exactly be able to get those sort of advantages. They engaged on them just under their turret, forced the heal proc, and then walked away scot-free.
Yeah, I think that's mainly just due to a lack of priorities coming out from the blue side bot lane. They're just not focusing on, you know, just trying to... They don't have to necessarily win lane, they just have to not lose lane. And by having mixed priorities, as I said, they're trying to be aggressive, but they're also trying to be passive at the same time, from what I can at least see.
Yeah,
And
it seems like they're
clearly
shifting between the two, and it's not paying off for them. I think that they could have definitely just sat behind their minion wave, farmed some, farms the minions out, froze the lane just where it is about now, kept Leona and Vayne at bay, but...
Well, there's also the matter of fact is the Vayne and Leona bot lane doesn't have a lot of wave clear. That is a lot of disconnects. My God. Uh, but yes, the Vayne Leona bot lane, they don't have a good amount of wave clear. So probably the better way of approaching it for the blue side bot lane would be to try and bait the Leona into diving onto them, so then they could draw minion aggro, and because they can't clear the minions quickly, that would draw in a lot more damage and potentially result in better traits.
Here's a trick actually. If you're in a melee versus ranged matchup, such as if you're the Tauranga or Leona in this situation, if you walk up to farm CS or hit a minion, and the ranged opponent in your lane auto attacks you, the minions will aggro onto them and will shift the wave manipulation to make it so that it starts pushing towards you. So you're able to actually set up the wave in a way that lets you farm, and it also lets you do something in a sense that if you were the Tauranga in this situation and you walked up, you procced your Targon's Brace, I think it's called. You stack on your minion, the Vayne autos you, then the minions are targeting her, you can back off, now suddenly the wave's pushing back towards your Twitch, and you can farm fine. And
Yep, and that is absolutely the way, the way to handle wave manipulation appropriately, but unfortunately, it just appears that they're not able to do that to the extent that they would like. We are going to finally get out of the pause, yes, as we are seeing the bot lane with a bit of a renowned vigor pushing up from that pause.
I mean, if I was paused for that long.
Top lane, trying to catch that minion wave, trying to catch up on the farm that the Yorick is starting to pull ahead in, backing out just before level 6.
Yeah, and I think it's quite telling actually if you look across the board here. Blue side is quite significantly down in CS. I think that, a lot of these matchups are giving advantages, just their ability to engage on in bot lane and then farm, as we talked about earlier. In mid lane, Victor does have that range versus melee matchup, able to just, abuse that and get an advantage in the farm there, just about 10 CS ahead, give or take. But you did see the Jax teleport, and the Diana had teleported earlier, which means that there aren't any TPs on the board for them to try and help out this bot lane if something happens.
Yeah, and it does look like Sejuani is going to be looking to come in for a bot lane gank, but he's going to be running into Nunu before that even happens. Let's see if they can who secures the Scuttle Crab. It's going to be Sejuani, but the bot lane isn't in any position to help. It's going to force the flash from Sejuani, getting out without any sort of scrapes, but without a flash now.
Yeah, I think a flash on a Sejuani is really nice to have, and really scary if it does, if you're playing as the Vayne. Being able to flash onto the targets and lock them down is a really big threat that they don't have anymore.
Speaking of really big threats, this Jax is going in. After hitting level 6 just before the Yorick, he is going to be able to chunk out. And another fight coming in on the bot lane. The Vayne is going straight onto the target. He's going to get hit level. And the max stacks onto the Twitch is going to deal a lot of damage. The Tarek just gets back out with any help, but it's not enough. He's going to go down to, I believe that was a minion hit. And yeah, fight goes in the favor of the red side, just barely. That almost just completely turned on its head in the favor of the blue side.
Got greedy for the cannon, and Leona saw the opportunity and punished him for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that might... if there was a change in summoner spells, I think that could have gone a bit better. So maybe heal on the Twitch and some form of offensive spell.
I think if you did have an exhaust on the Tauranga there, that fight would have been completely different. Just being able to exhaust the Vayne, suddenly Leona's going in without any damage follow-up, able to convert that, turn the fight around. But even before that, they were a level down, and Tauranga did walk up for the cannon, and so, it doesn't really matter how well you prepared for it. If you're walking up level down, they're going to engage on you, and there's only so much you can do in that situation.
Yeah, there's also just the general, mismatch of starting items. Like, I believe that control ward that the Tarek put down, it didn't really offer too much. Diana's going to get hit by the snowball, not going to be only four.
Saying hello in the mid lane there.
Absolutely, just friendly passing by. But yeah, if the Tarek were to have had some form of regen through pots, he might have had a bit more health for that fight. Well, we could have seen a different outcome.
I think there was a lot of factors that led to that, but yeah, I think I have to agree there. But it looks like Nunu is coming back.
And not going to be able to connect with the snowball though, and the Victor ult is chasing, but not going to get any more procs. Diana did have to flash out of that, which means she is all in next time she fights, with no way of getting out for herself.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate reality of playing Diana.
Ooh, Jack's flashing out of the Yorick W. He's going to be able to land a good amount of hits on it. He's going to have the leap strike up any second now, and he's definitely within range, and that's going to be an easy, secure solo kill for the Jax. And Sejuani going all in with that ultimate, but Jax just focusing on the CS is not in any position to...
The man has his priorities straight.
Absolutely. Get that farm. You killed your solo lane, that's all you need to worry about.
You can see he is significantly down in items, not even finished his phage yet, but being able to pick up that Dark Seal, which is, you know, helping with that regen on that corrupting pot, letting him get that early damage and converted it to a kill. I think that once you hit 6 and you have the power spikes, you're such a threat on Jax. And once you get on top of someone like Yorick...
Yeah, you can see the Leona being very aggressive here in the ball lane. He's going to be able to land the E onto the Twitch. They're going super aggressive for a team that has a Taric ultimate on their side. The Vayne is going to get stunned up yet again, but the damage is just not enough coming from the Twitch, and the Ignite on the Twitch is going to be able to finish him off with the help of the Vayne in the auto-attacking scene. And the Taric, just nothing to its name, is going to result in a double kill going towards the Vayne. That is a fed Vayne, and that is going to cause a lot of problems later on for this game.
That's really unfortunate there. You saw they got the stun onto the Vayne, but at the same time, Twitch got stunned up. And if he was able to cleanse the stun there just a little bit earlier, I think he would have been able to increase his damage output while the Vayne was CC'd, and that fight could have gone a completely different way. But
absolutely, and that's going to be an Ocean Drake picked up for the red team, helping out with that regen, which I'm sure Victor and Yorick will definitely appreciate with that mana cost on their abilities.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it is an Ocean Drake, which will only be useful for the next 2 or 3 minutes, roughly, but I think it's definitely something to have better than not having it at all, right? So.
Oh yes, no, it's better to deny an Ocean Drake to the enemy team.
Completely. I think that's definitely a better way of looking at it. I would have liked to see them try and look for this Rift Herald here quite shortly. I think that they have, while they are losing to this Jax, if you're able to just do a lane swap, put your bot lane and top lane, just choke out this Jax from having any pressure, you know, have priority on the Rift Herald, your Twitch and Taric aren't exactly a threat, and I think that Yorick would be able to just sit there and farm against them. I think that would be an option they could go for here, but yeah, as it seems, just going to play standard, which is the safer call.
Absolutely safer. You can see the Jax rotating through that ward that is in the standard brush. Jax just checking the area, make sure Nunu's not doing the Rift Herald, as you said. He's not dropping any wards of his own, though, which, as we saw last time, didn't really work out well.
Yeah, I mean, Nunu is in the bot side
coming up from the Jax, though. Oh, that is a chunky W. This Yorick is definitely going to need a helping hand. And speaking of a helping hand, here comes Sejuani, spotted by the ward, so Yorick is definitely going to start playing safe under his tower now. But they could still potentially go for the tower dive here. Nunu is on his way from the fountain, but will they be able to get there in time?
I think that Yorick has enough wave clear to be able to delay this, so they're not going to be able to get the turret dive off just yet, as you can see. But I would like to see them try and set up some sort of defensive vision line across this topside jungle in preparation for the Rift Herald.
Yeah, and I think the main difference here is they know Sejuani's top. But blue team does not know that Nunu is top.
Yes, that is actually very important. If they go for the turret dive here,
a lot of damage coming out. The force splash coming from the Yorick, it's going to result in the force splash coming from the Sejuani. But they're going to get hit by the snowball, and that's going to result in Sejuani going down to the Yorick. The Jax forced to ward hop over the wall, while the Nunu gives somewhat of a chase. Going to clear out that control ward that Sejuani put down, and that's the Leona ultimate coming down onto the Twitch, and the Twitch just has nowhere to run. He's going to go down before the Taric ultimate can save him, and Taric just going to run out of tower, and, well, think about what happened.
What happened indeed. Getting a little bit
what is happening right now. Leona going aggressive yet again. However, this might be a bit of a misplay coming from the other team, as Vayne is so close. That heal is just coming through, and there was another kill coming in the mid lane with the Diana dying to the Victor and the Nunu. Everything's just happening at once. For the red
Everything is falling apart for the blue team right now. Their advantages in the top lane weren't able to convert into anything, and now bot lane's fallen into even further deficit. Vayne snowballing out of control here. Gonna be such a major threat in these upcoming mid-game teamfights around objectives that I just don't see blue team contesting at the moment.
Yeah, I don't see any way other than like an absolute nuke on top of the Vayne via the Sejuani ultimate Diana combo, Jax follow-up to be able to kill the Vayne outright.
I want a tag ultimate onto a Diana who can jump onto this Vayne, and then I want the Sejuani's ult to land at the same time, and then that Vayne is dead. If that can't happen in that exact order, I do not see this Vayne living. Sorry, this Vayne dying. I do not see the blue team living.
Now,
already has her Blade of the Ruin King and a pickaxe.
And we do have the blue team bot lane trying to clear out the vision around their lane so they can try and get some kind of reprieve from the pressure that's now happening towards the spot side, especially with the Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. We do have the turret readings going down now at 14 minutes, and Yorick is going to be hard pushing this turret with that Trinity Force finish on his item board.
You see Diana's going into flank?
Yeah, they're going to be trying to 3-man this. Yorick does have ultimate available. He's going to try and pop it here. I think, no, he's just going to take the damage like a champion and almost just walk right out.
And Tarek dropping yet again. So unfortunate. It's so scary when you're behind against someone like a Vayne and a Leona lane. You just cannot walk forward. You just have to cop the loss. You gotta wait for the CS to push in, but even then they can turret dive you, and so you really have to rely on Sejuani to be able to try and make any form of open.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be first turret going down. Unless the Jax can get it in time, it's going to be very close, and it's going to go to the red team. But there is the Nunu and the Jax fighting in the top lane now, and there's going to be a teleport coming in from Yorick. Can the Jax finish off the Nunu before it's too late? It doesn't look like it will flash into the wall from the Jax, and the W is going to be able to finish it off and condemn him with the Yorick Q.
The slow from the Nunu ult there, messing up his flash, really unfortunate. I see a lot of people doing that when they're slowed. They have the muscle memory to just flash on reaction. Because it's not quite where they want them to be, it ends up flashing into the wall.
Oh yeah, and that's going to be another turret going to the red team in the top side, and it's more than likely going to be Dragon. Yep, there we go, going to the red team as well. That's a Cloud Dracer. Extra movement speed is going to be very nice on someone like the Nunu and the Victor, who is going to get caught up right now by the Turret and the Diana. No stun's going to land as Victor flashes out of range.
Very nice flash though. No hesitation. I think that if it was a second late on that flash delay, then Sejuani would have been able to get on top of him, and then Diana's damage pulls back in, and suddenly everything's south. But a lot of discipline there.
Yeah, or even just the Tarek proccing the stun startup as the Diana was going in, because I believe he was within range, and it looks like they're going to go for Rift Herald now, when there's no vision on the Rift Herald itself. And by the looks of it, the backing Diana and Tarek, they're not going to have any pressure to try and, combat this, and it's just going to go straight over to the red team.
Red team is completely in control of the pacing of this game. They walk up to Rift Herald. If they want it, blue team has to let them take it, even if they had a vision of it. I don't think they're in a position that they could even contest at the moment. They're going to try and take out this mid lane turret here. Sejuani is looking, but just going to accept the loss and back off.
Yeah, you can see the Twitch on the side. He wants to get the flank off, but I don't think he's going to deal near enough damage.
He hasn't even finished his first item. He is not doing any damage anytime soon. Which is a shame to say at Twitch at 17 minutes, but
it absolutely is. And we do have the Yorick pushing in the top side with the Rift Herald and his ultimate in the same lane. Jax might be able to potentially stop this. Let's see if... I think the Yorick's going to try and aim to kill the Jax before he uses the Rift Herald.
If blue team has any hope, it is on this Jax being able to get big. So they are looking to collapse onto this Yorick here, but...
And not going to be anywhere near in time. Yorick ultimate is actually following Yorick, which is a smart play from him, so he's not losing it just to the tower or to Jax. And that is going to be a snowball going under the tower onto the Tarek. The ultimate is not going to proc in time, but it's going to hit the Diana, who might be able to get a return kill on the Vayne. No, they're not. They're stunned to all hell. And that's going to be a Yorick going down as a bit of a compensation prize for the blue team. So they're going to be losing an inner mid turret. And Twitch, just
Oh
wants to
no!
say hello, but
Oh
the red
no!
team, not the friendly sort. And that is going to likely be an inhibitor turret going down as well. Things just not going well for the blue team at this
And
time.
you can see that they're implementing this 1-4 that I mentioned at the beginning of the game here. He's having so much pressure, drawing, what was it, 2-3 members to the top lane there, allowing them to just force a turret dive. They get 3 turrets and an inhibitor off of that push alone. I think that just shows just how much pressure Yorick's able to create by himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yorick is right now acting as the scapegoat for the red team, when really the blue team should be focusing on that Vayne or that Victor, more or less.
They also had their Twitch, their main team fighting carry, or he's meant to be, in the bot lane. They're solo farming when he really should have been mid lane trying to help wave clear, or at least preparing for them to try and crack the base. But
And we do have Yorick in the bot lane now, going to clear up some vision. And you can see the spam pings coming towards the bot lane. I don't think they've learned their lesson. Yorick is not the target, and he's just going to back away in time before they can collapse, resulting in a waste of effort. With Baron coming up in 40 seconds, blue team's not in any position to try and contest any sort of vision or pressure on the Baron at all.
I feel like if you're the blue team, you have to, though. In this sort of situation, if red team gets Baron at 20 minutes, you've basically surrendered the game.
Basically, and then you've got the Ginsus now on the Vayne, and I think that's just going to be the icing on the cake. I don't think there's too much that the blue team can really do at this moment, unless they get a surprise miracle assassination attempt on the Vayne.
All I know is never doubt a Jax when he's backed into a corner. There's always the chance some crazy comeback where he 1v5s the entire team, counter-striking everything, stuns the Vayne, kills her, jumps onto the Yorick, kills the Victor, but looks like they are just going to be able to take this. You're going to have to wait for some miracle storm.
Oh, gets through just in time, and now Jax is caught out on his own, forced to flash away, and there is just nobody there to contest the Baron, while red team just secures that. Now to Yorick with a bunch of Baron minions as
1v2ing.
as well as this Maiden of the Mist and Shelly gonna be coming in with that hit on the tower. They're hunting for a Twitch, and there's this chaos going on in the
Yeah,
bot
if you
lane.
want to talk about split push, try have 3 threats with 1 champion, right? Like,
Oh my goodness. Tarek is just getting destroyed by this Yorick. And the ultimate's not going to save him. Shelly actually gets the kill with the charge.
I've never
it's
seen that happen
beautiful.
before. That's fantastic. Oh, that's so it's so unfortunate. When you pick someone like a Tarek, you need to be ahead. You can't really offer a lot of options when it comes to these sort of losing situations.
And there's going to be a... I don't know if you can even really call it a fight. The Sejuani goes down without any sort of struggle from the red team as the Vayne just piles on, going in and in and in, and Leona making sure that they've got the crowd control to do it. The Vayne, though, getting a bit too cocky, gonna get taken down by the Diana. Could be the saving grace that the blue team needs.
Anime comeback time. Let's go. I'm hyped. Come on, blue team. Let's
But
see what
there's
you're
so
made
many
of.
minions, and the Nuno just obliterates them.
Oh.
It's just the Jax left alone. He's gonna try and find it. He's going for the kill onto the Victor. Oh, there's nothing
Leaving
that
the
can
base.
go on to the blue team. He's
Yo.
just gonna run for the fountain. It's a Twitch, but he doesn't deal any damage. The Yorick is just gonna, with his minion posse, they're just gonna be able to take down the Nexus by the looks of it. More minions are coming in, and they're just sieging this. They're the commanders, and their army is just pushing in, and they're going to take the win eventually. That is going to be game going over to MRGS1 on the red team.
I just think that was such a commanding and dominant performance. I definitely think that they're such a threat compared to their opponent there. Just it seemed like they were a lot more on the ball about their win condition. A couple misplays coming out from blue side that they just punished, and we saw just how out of control that Vayne got. Really unfortunate for the blue team there, but really well played, really clean execution on the side of red team.
Yeah, no, and it's just unfortunate because that game could have gone so differently with just some slight changes in approach. Like with that regen for the Turok in the early game, so we'd have a bit more health for the fight, for that ward coverage for the Jax in the top lane. Just small things that could have changed the entire pace of the game by denying any sort of early advantage for the red team.
Oh, completely. I think League of Legends is definitely a game about mistakes, as much as people like to think they're perfect. Um, Unfortunately, everyone makes mistakes, and it's up to you to identify your opponent's mistakes and make the most out of them. Like you saw, bot side took the red side in the bot lane with the Vayne and Leona took the early fight, knowing the Tarik didn't have any sustain in his pots. They ganked the Jax, knowing that Sejuani wasn't there and he was pushed up. And so it's just things like that that are just able to net you these small gains that can transition into such big advantages.
All right, and that's gonna be it from us. This was an exciting game,
That was
nevertheless.
exciting
Like,
indeed. I was
yeah,
thrilled.
it's not often that I get to cast for these high school games, and it's interesting. It adds a new perspective to this sort of spectating style,
For
and
sure, definitely.
yeah, I absolutely enjoyed. Anyway, that's gonna be it from us. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, we'll catch you next time we see you.
Yeah, see you around.
I hate to stare at you through these lights. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. I'm addicted to you. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Oh, oh. This ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial. This ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial.